Okay, something you'll notice with this question is there's a number before the x squared. In other words, it's not the coefficient of the x squared is not 1. Now, when that happens, there is another step that we've got to do to answer this question. So let's go ahead. You get the 11 here, so the coefficient of the x squared, and you get the number term, and simply multiply them together. And this becomes the number that you're trying to find the factor pairs of. Now we need two numbers that multiply together to make 66 and add together to make the coefficient of the x, which is minus 25. So we know they're both going to be negative, otherwise they can't add together to make a negative and multiply together to make a positive. So let's have a thing, minus 1 and minus 66. Well, that's not going to add together to make minus 25, so not that one. Minus 2 and minus 33. We're getting closer, but we're still quite far off. So let's have a think. Minus 3 and minus 22. So let's add those two together. So minus 3 plus minus 22 equals minus 25. So we've got it. So the two factor pairs we've got are minus 3 and minus 22. Now what I'm going to do is rewrite the question, just completely rewrite it, but apart from, instead of minus 25x, I'm going to write minus 3x minus 22x. So 11x squared, same as before, but instead of that minus 25x, I'm going to write minus 3x minus 22x. And then I'm just going to add the plus 6 at the end. Now you could have done this the other way around, but it doesn't matter which way around you do it. Okay. Now the beauty of this is that I've changed a question that asked me to factorise a quadratic into a question where I've just got to factorise two linear expressions. So this is what I'm going to do. That first bracket, there's no number I can divide out of both of those, but I can divide an x out of both of those. So it becomes 11x minus 3. Now this second bracket, any negatives you need to divide out. So if there's a negative here, which there is, I need that on the outside of the bracket. So the number I'm dividing out needs to be negative. Now let's have a think. 6 and 22. Well, they're both in the 3 times table, are they? No. They're both in the 2 times table. So let's have a look. So I'm going to divide out negative 2. When I do that, I get a positive 11x. Okay, and that's really important for that first term to be positive. And when I do 6 divided by the minus 2, I get a minus 3. Okay, and I know some students find that a little bit complicated, but as long as you don't have a negative here, you're fine. The reason for that is we need both of these brackets to be the same. And if we kept the negative on the inside, they wouldn't both be the same. Okay, last step, dead easy, is I get the coefficients of the brackets, so the x and the negative 2, and I create a bracket for them, so x minus 2. And then I get the repeated bracket, and it's really important we have a repeated bracket, and just put that next to it. And so our answer is x negative 2, or x minus 2, bracket, 11x minus 3. And if you've got time, if you expanded that, you will find that you would get 11x squared minus 25x plus 6.